You've never powered up?
No. Do I have to do that? I'm powering up. I power up.
You kind of missed the age at which you would power up.
I mean, is it not cool anymore? You're 30, you can't power up.
You've never powered up, you've never lived.
Okay, well, maybe I'll power up when I get home.
Welcome to another episode of Let Me Know.
Why did you just laugh like that?
The estrogen level is so different than on Fear End. I can tell this is already so much more focused and organized.
What?
Wait,
What do
really?
you mean?
Wow,
Complimentary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it this?
Well,
Is that adding to it?
it's definitely estrogen level.
Do you feel like you're on the Girly Pop podcast?
See that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, welcome to the podcast. First guest ever.
yeah, this is really exciting.
Huge.
Hooray.
Hooray.
We have just a totally random guest.
So exciting.
Completely random, has nothing to do with...
I'm like the
Wasn't
warm-up
in-house.
guest.
Okay, you kind of are the warm-up guest,
Yeah, I'll
but
take it.
it doesn't mean that we don't love and appreciate you so much. But everybody, I'm Caroline,
I'm Sam.
and
Our first guest ever.
You're both pointing at me like you're going to say my name. Do you want me to say it?
Yes, you say
Okay,
your
I'm
name.
Will Neff.
I'm sorry, we forgot your name, so we
Hi.
just
I'm Will Neff.
wanted
Welcome
you to
on.
say it.
We
I was
wrangled.
thrown off because you both
We were like,
did this. Like you're about
Again,
to...
you're our
Da-da-da.
warm-up guest, so we're learning these things,
All right.
okay?
Cool.
we
Yeah.
had to wrangle you back from playing anime horse game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tell
do you
us
wanna
about anime horse game.
Talk to us about that.
I mean, it's sweeping the nation, really.
Is it sweeping the nation?
Oh,
Or is
yeah,
it-
it's sweeping the nation.
It's sweeping
Okay, or
like
is
the
it
small
swept you?
island.
Caroline, I just played with 15 other streamers.
Maybe the... Okay.
Is it addicting or is it like the moment?
A little bit of both.
Can
Okay.
you explain what this is? Because I just want to start off by saying that when people came into my chat and
Yeah.
said, "Are you going to play the anime horse girl game?" I
So
guess
much more than that.
maybe I'm
You're like-
naive, maybe I'm just a small, sweet summer child, but I thought it was just like horses that you're racing.
Well, yes.
Well, it is kind of. They're
Okay,
just
but
They
no,
have the features of women.
yes,
no, they're anime girls.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So is it one of the like gotcha games?
It is a gotcha game.
Okay, so what makes it
What
like
is a
so?
gotcha game?
A gotcha game is a game where the game is usually free, but what you're paying on is rolling and like trying to pull the characters you want.
It's like Genshin Impact
Yeah.
or stuff like that.
Can you like pay money to get better characters? Or
Yes.
is that a part of it?
Yes.
It is usually a part of
Okay.
it. Yeah, that's part of it.
And then what is this that I heard about it being based on real?
The horses are named after real horses.
Oh,
Okay.
is there Seabiscuit?
It's 90% a horse trainer simulator, and then
Okay.
10% like anime girl gotcha
People
game.
are saying this is a Gooner game. What do you respond to that?
I don't think it's Gooner enough to be a Gooner game.
Okay.
Like there aren't like lewd horses really.
No.
No.
Okay.
It's more of a Genshin Impact.
But you're racing, but the anime girls themselves are racing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you like build up. They're like, I was seeing somebody compare it to like Pokemon. So you're like,
Yeah, you
like,
build their stats and then they get special skills that have a percentage chance of triggering.
I don't think this is a unique experience. I think we're having.
So
right
I
now.
lost a lot today because I built my horse for rain and there was no rain on any of the 10
Oh, there's like
races.
environmental features.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
What
so
if one of the anime girls breaks their leg? Do you have
You
to
have to
shoot
take 'em to
them?
the infirmary.
Do you have to take them out
Well,
back?
that's what it's called at the end of a run. You glue them, but that's not in the game.
Oh.
That's what everybody calls it. But then you use that horse to sire your later horses, and they get some of their stats.
So the new horses absorb the old anime horses' powers.
Yes, they get inspired.
What do you mean you sire?
Do they consume them?
No, they just get inspired by them. That's how they
Like they
take the
look at their
breeding.
dead bodies and they're just like,
No,
I
they're
can be
not-
better.
It's more of just like they draw divine inspiration.
Maybe it's
from-
fear.
Sorry, again, can we go back to the siring?
Yeah, that it's inspiration is what they call it. But
okay.
it'd be like breeding.
Wow.
Perfect, of course.
Fascinating.
It's
So
the essential piece.
This is the biggest thing in the world.
For streamers right now, yeah.
I love the streamer metas.
There were over 100,000 people watching this game today.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long has this been around?
Like a week.
I think Northern Lion is the first person that I saw playing it.
I know Premiere 2 was an early adapter also.
Okay.
There is
But
kind of a Northern Lion effect too.
I think it's just ridiculous enough that it's like it gets your attention and then it's fun and competitive, so it keeps you there because you want
Okay.
to watch the progressions in the career.
So
love
you
it.
were in a tournament today.
Yes.
You didn't get last place.
I didn't get last.
Yay.
But you
I got like middle of the pack.
okay.
Who got first?
Ooh.
Was it Squeaks?
I think Shifter. Yeah.
How is Squeaks?
Squeaks was real bad.
He was bad.
He was almost dead last.
He was almost dead last.
I wouldn't predict that.
Saikuno was dead last.
Dead last.
I wouldn't predict
Okay.
that either. I don't know who gives good at horse girl racing vibes. Speaking of anime, I want to hear about anime convention.
Oh,
Anime Expo.
Anime Expo?
Yeah.
I wanted to go because we have been kind of dipping our. Well, I've
Well,
watched.
I'm a weeb now.
Yeah, you're in.
Yes.
I'm like a slow burn. Okay, so I started with Death Note like a couple
Sure.
years ago, which is normal for a lot of people. And then I've kind of like built my way up. And so this is the first year that I wanted to go.
I'm sorry. I love that you're describing yourself as a slow burn. I'm describing myself as a weeb, and I've only watched anime that you have recommended me so far.
you've gone from 0 to about 100, and
Yeah.
I was kind of like a slow burn.
But to be
with
clear,
Silicon.
all the anime I've watched is anime you have recommended.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I'm giving the people the word.
So tell us about Anime Expo. I did not go. I just did not physically have it in me. I will
Sure.
say when
Not a
he
real weeb.
returned, the smell of 1,000 weebs, sweaty weebs.
Well, I
was
saw
upon him.
your gear on the bed laid out.
I think I was the number one smelly weeb that day.
It was the
it was
smell
ju-
hit me.
It's just so hot, and I
Mm-hmm.
was wearing armor the whole time.
Yeah, your getup was cool. Your Batman.
Yeah. I was wearing a Batman. Maybe you can splice in a photo of what I look like. It was like 100 degrees, and I was just cooking.
It looked cool though. Was it like a specific variation of like Batman? Because there's like been
Yeah, it's Terry McGinnis. It's Batman Beyond.
that was a good one.
Yeah.
And did you get that like custom made or?
I did.
That's sick.
I did.
You
That
got
was
it
cool.
from China, right?
I did.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
That's a good one. And then you went with Peach and Sear,
Yes.
and was there anybody else?
No, I think that was like who I was mainly. Oh, Baby No Money.
Oh, fun. Yeah, and he was
Did you see his cosplay?
Yeah, but I don't know what it was.
Dr. Octopus.
Okay.
But each one of the arms was holding a different VTuber.
Oh, that's good.
Sick.
And then Sear went as BB No Money one of the days.
Yeah, for the
Well-
costume contest. And then the last day he went as like Star Wars Redditor.
Yeah,
Right.
We weren't quite sure.
Yeah.
There was a situation that Peach posted about they got costumes and then their costumes got like stolen.
Yeah, Peach ordered a costume to her house and it got porch pirated.
That's crazy.
Do you think anybody at Anime Expo was wearing it?
I don't know. I've actually had a costume get stolen before.
Really?
Yeah, Caroline got my car stolen,
Okay.
and in the back,
Oh.
I got
the
it back. I
car.
got it back. I think we should lead with that.
in the back of the
Yeah.
car was a Vegeta cosplay I never got to wear.
Was it like really
It was
nice?
sick.
Well, somebody somewhere is rocking that Vegeta costume.
I love that they
don't-
gave
I
the
don't
car
know.
back. They were like, I do not want this, but that.
To be clear, I got it back. I tracked it down, and I got
took
it
it back from
I
him.
took it.
He's
I
wearing the
took it
Vegeta
back.
costume in
Yeah.
the driver's seat. Going,
Yes.
no, like let me have this.
But
We
he
stole
did.
our own
He
vehicle
did
back.
take the. He did take the Vegeta cosplay.
Yeah.
true.
Sorry. What did you see that was cool at Expo?
I mean, everybody's costumes are like insane. There are hundreds of ridiculous costumes where you're like, holy crap.
That's people's Super Bowl. They go fucking insane.
Is it the biggest cosplay convention?
I don't know if it's the biggest cosplay convention.
Comic-Con maybe?
I mean, I think it's like, I think there are more focused costume
Yeah,
conventions where like
furry conventions.
everybody, because you can show up to Anime Expo just wearing street clothes, and a lot of people do.
Okay.
I probably would.
And Hassan Piker was supposed to dress
Botched
as
it.
Clark Kent.
Botched
and
it.
he
Totally botched it.
totally failed.
Totally failed.
What was his attempt? Because Clark Kent's just glasses
No,
guy.
no, he just didn't do it.
He just didn't do it.
Oh, sure,
He looks
sure.
like Clark Kent, and he just wore a Luffy hat, and then like a, I don't know, like a red jersey.
Every convention I see him go to, he wears the Luffy
He wears
hat.
the Luffy hat.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
one-
Dodgers
he's
just
one costume
did
piker.
One Piece.
Yeah, the
night.
Dodgers did a one-piece night. So a lot of baseball teams have kind of tapped into. So for those of you who don't
They're
know,
weebing out.
well, this is an interesting kind of twist on something they've been doing for years. What baseball stadiums will do on nights that they predict to be a slow night, right? So like let's say they have a Wednesday game or a Thursday game that's like mid-afternoon. they know that their baseline attendance is not going to be as good as like a Sunday game. Sunday game is like when it's going to be packed. So what they'll do is they'll add some twist to it, like tonight's Latin Heritage Night, and you will in the first like 5,000 people in attendance will get like a jersey of a specific player with a different colorway.
They gamify it.
Yeah. So you get something. And so recently they've been doing this with anime. They've been doing it with like gotcha games, actually. So yeah. So people will go to get the specific
That's a
thing.
crazy
Well,
crossover.
I've also noticed a crossover of like celebrities and anime. Meg the Stallion obviously has talked about how she's a huge anime fan. She was at DreamCon. She's like big into cosplay. Is that a newer thing of like...
You know what I've always said? Like the Met Gala, I think that's cosplay for normies. Like they're 1 degree away from, because they have the money, they can do fucking insane cosplays.
Yeah.
They're and it's merging. We're getting overlap now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mainline anime fans, I think it's now that you had kind of my generation and a little bit younger, which is where anime was kind of first introduced to the American zeitgeist. Those people are now aging up and they're more open about their love of anime.
What was like the first major anime introduced
Toonami.
to Toonami?
I would say 90% of people that enjoy anime that are like any kind of mainline celebrity right now probably started with Toonami.
When was
Okay.
that? Like, when did that come out?
My gosh, I don't know the first year. You can probably look that up. What the first year, but Toonami ran. I think Toonami might still be on TV.
Really?
Yeah,
New or like just like reruns and
So
stuff?
Toonami is not an anime. It's a series.
It was on Adult Swim.
No, it was
No.
not on Adult
Wait,
Swim.
but-
It was on Cartoon Network.
Why does it say Adult Swim? Toonami.
They might have.
Not at first, but
Bumped it.
eventually Toonami was on Adult Swim, but originally it was on Cartoon Network.
Okay, 1997.
Yes.
Is when it
and
says.
it's running till now, but it was like a series of shows.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what was happening was Adult Swim and Cartoon Network were trying to find all of these ways to maximize a very limited budget, kind of in the same way that Power Rangers used old Sentai shows
Mm-hmm.
and then cut new American parts into it. Do you know that?
Nope.
Okay, so
I'm one of my Uber drivers that once was the Red Power Ranger.
yeah. So Power Rangers, Big Bad Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, what they would do is they would take the Japanese show, they would take the action sequences from the Japanese equivalent of the show, and then they would recut all the things that led up to the action sequences to when they changed into the Power Rangers with an American cast
Oh.
to maximize dollars. So what Adult Swim and Cartoon Network did was Adult Swim cut a bunch of old Hanna-Barbera shows, took the old cell animation and recycled them and made shows like C-Lab 2021, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and they were basically recycling old animation with just new voiceovers.
Oh.
And Toonami realized they could buy a lot of Japanese anime that was older from the 80s and 90s very inexpensively.
Yeah.
So they would go buy something that aired forever ago and then show it, and then that blew up. And the one show that really blew up that is, I would say, still the most commonplace anime that everybody's seen is Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
That was like
I
the
feel
one-
like that one transcends into like
Yeah.
normie territory.
And then when the creator had died, what was that, a year ago?
Yeah, everybody paid tribute.
Everybody.
that was
yes.
the one of the only shows I wasn't allowed to watch as a kid.
Interesting.
And it's because my mom said it was violent,
Interesting.
which is interesting because I feel like it wasn't more violent than like other TV shows that were happening. And also I did karate.
Well, have you ever learned how to? What's it called again?
Power up.
Have you learned how to power?
I have
you
not
ever
learned how to
powered
power up. No, I've never powered up.
You've never powered up?
No. Do I have to do that?
I mean, you don't have to.
Okay. I'm powering
You
up. I
kind
power
of
up.
you kind of miss the age at which you would power up.
I mean,
Was it
come
not
on, if
cool
you've never
anymore? You're
powered
30,
up,
you can't power
You've
up.
never powered up. You've never lived.
Okay, well, maybe I'll power up when I get home.
No, that's constipation.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Whatever.
All right, well, I've powered up before, so I don't need to do it again.
Yeah, but I think the ubiquity of that show kind of gave a lot of people like a commonality that they could talk to each other. And now I think all those people are growing up, and you see a lot of people from different communities, like athletes, really embracing anime. And now it's kind of become so mainline.
There's a big professional athlete anime crossover.
Huge.
When I was in school, I used to watch like Pokemon when I was a kid, right? And I remember being younger at every like increment of my life being like, anime looks kind of cool. But I went to like a predominantly like white country town.
Sure.
And so there was nobody that I knew that watched anime.
They
and
were
if
doing
they did,
vlogger shit,
they were doing
like climbing trees.
literally like the sport of forestry. We talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody was watching anime. And so it was like a couple years ago, I remember I saw Death Note on Netflix and I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to dabble. And I remember like my ex, like I would watch it when he was like at work. I would just like quietly just like watch anime and I loved it. And then same thing, I just like stopped for a long time. And then when I became friends with streamers, I was like, maybe I'll dabble. Maybe I'll dabble. And it's good.
Well, you know what I think is interesting is like, I think your first foray into anime is different than a lot of the people we're talking about. I think a lot of men in particular, the power scaling fantasy is like very...
What's that mean?
So like all of the mainline anime, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, et cetera, it's basically like strong character, has ability that allows him to reach great heights.
Sure.
Every arc is him reaching a new great height, testing his power, fighting an undefeatable boss, and then we go higher and higher and higher. And I think that's like very appealing to athletes and young men.
Yeah. See, for me, like that like has never appealed to me, but it's the horror stuff, the like weird shit. Because the thing about anime, which we talked on that episode once, is there's like an inherent like corniness and campiness to it, which I think unlocks the potential for like anything to happen plot wise. And people go, okay, sure.
And I think that's like kind of why I was turned off from it though, because I thought it was just like really silly. And I go, why are they saying the things that they're doing to? Like to me, I went, this is bad writing. Like,
it's been inside of me the whole time.
Yeah, as a little like studying, the art of script writing and whatnot, because they describe everything that they're doing, and I was always like, it's supposed to be show, don't tell, and this is just like so over the top.
You're putting your cards out on the table.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's like very also shonen style. Is like the whole a lot of them are based on the shonen mangas, which would be like a periodical, kind of like a comic book. And a lot of times what comic books will do to cheat if you've missed a few issues is like the characters will be like, if Red Skull's still doing his fucking plan, if we don't. So shonens do the same thing where it's like, if he doesn't stop now, the whole world will be torn apart. And those are mostly made for children. So a lot of like the ubiquitous anime that we consume or did consume at the time were like geared towards children, but there were a lot of and stuff I'll show and tell you about early anime projects that were like untethered, like full penetration, violence, sexual violence, murder, intrigue, kind of because you just had a lot of animators with like these big budgets and no restrictions. And so some of those earliest, like particularly anime film are like insane, unhinged, wild.
It was so funny too because when I was watching Promised Neverland, which you recommended, Will was saying, he goes, do you know how lucky you are that I have watched so much anime that you get to just watch the best stuff because you don't have to wade through
bunch of garbage.
A bunch of garbage.
That is true. There's something like uniquely beautiful too about like watching somebody that you love start to enjoy a thing that you've liked for a really long time, because you can be like, no, listen, I can cultivate. I do this with like horror games where I'll be like, I will cultivate like the best of the best playlist for you. Like you'll never have to go through the shitty stuff. Yeah, that's cool.
Anime was something I never intended to share with Caroline, if I'm being full.
Yeah.
What?
I always kind of just thought that would be my own thing.
Are you happy that she likes it, or are you like,
what
I lost my? It's like when somebody's like, I want to go on the fishing boat.
I'm happy she likes it, but I think she wouldn't enjoy a lot of like the pulpy mainline shit that I enjoy as well.
So you didn't want to share because you didn't want me to like ruin it?
No, also the way that I watch anime is like kind of comfort programming. I kind of like how low impact some anime is, that I can just sit and enjoy and unplug it and watch it kind of like a Marvel movie.
I didn't realize till recently that he watches it every single night to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Oh, do you watch subbed or dubbed?
It really depends on the dub.
Because I pretty much only watch dubbed because I like to have it on second monitor.
Yeah.
I don't like to sit and watch it. And like, you know, that's like, I have the hardest time sitting.
I know, it kills me. She watched
watching.
The Godfather while she was playing. I totally ratted her out on stream.
Yeah.
She watched The Godfather while playing Minecraft.
Favorite anime, The Godfather.
Yeah, I love that.
I was like, it killed me inside.
It's so comforting though, because it's like I love doing multiple things at once, like because it scratches all of It's like if I do one thing, I'm thinking about another thing I would like to be doing, and so if I do that other thing at the same time, I'm like, all of the wires are busy right now. Yeah. Therefore, I don't have to think.
So the classic subs versus dubs debate is that you can't enjoy the anime unless you use the subs and listen to the original voiceover.
I will say, as someone who has done a lot of dubbing voice work, never listen to dubs.
I disagree. I disagree because I think early stuff I totally agree with. If you're watching an anime from the 80s or 90s.
Okay, maybe not. I don't have enough experience with anime, but I mean like foreign language projects. For instance, Squid Game. Okay, popular show. You have to watch Squid Game in the original language.
There are some amazing dub artists though. Like the golden example of this is Cowboy Bebop, because I've watched both the sub and the dub, and I think the dub is better. Like that voice cast is crazy.
Do you think the more popular ones that have like bigger budget to just get really, really good voice actors are like that?
It's interesting. It's such a grab bag because there was an anime recently by the same creator called Lazarus, and I thought the dubs were not that great.
Interesting. All the ones that I've watched have been really good, but I also don't know any better.
It's a performance medium, though. You know what I mean? Like someone can have a really great performance, and sometimes they just miss the character, and the tone is wrong.
I don't like. It's such the thing with dubbing though is when you come in, and maybe it's when it's not animated. Maybe it's when it's actual human actors that you're having to mimic. Basically, they show you the scene, and it's their faces, it's their bodies. You're just having to match up with. You're having to also the dialogue is usually kind of whack because you're trying to best match with their mouth movements, so it can get a little crazy.
Lip flaps.
Yeah.
Is that a technical term?
It just perfect. Like I think I'm a pretty decent actress. But with dubbing, there is it's a different style of performance. It doesn't matter
for
how
live
good
action,
you
it's
are.
completely different because I think you immediately get uncanny valley when someone's head is moving and it just doesn't match. Anime, you don't get that as much.
Yeah. I want to ask you guys about, because you guys did a movie like kind of recently that I don't think I've ever talked to you guys about. What was the name of it?
Peak Season.
Yeah. How was that?
Oh, I was going to say Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible?
Yeah.
Spoiler.
We did Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. That was a couple years at this point.
I remember when I first kind of got to know you guys, that was like right then. I think that had happened. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, it was funny because we didn't do a single scene together though, but it basically like he'd be in a scene and the next scene I'd be in that one.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one that you posted like kind of recently. It was like a reel, I think.
That was that the little thing that we did with Henry, that series, the YouTube series, was that the first time we've actually acted together in something?
I
actually acted in a scene together. I think so.
Interesting. I can't remember.
I think so. Well, let's do you want to learn about Will Neff?
I do. Okay, yeah, because I feel like I've known you for like a couple years now, and I don't know any of your like lore pertaining to content creation, which I feel like is always like, I hate when people ask me about that because you just say the same thing over and over again, and it's never interesting to yourself when you're talking about it, but I don't know it. Sure. And I feel like we might have people that don't know it.
She doesn't know the Will Neff
I don't know the lore. I know...
I'll give you a condensed version.
Yeah, of course.
I went to a boarding school named Blair Academy.
Oh, we're going back.
No, I think this is pretty important.
Okay.
Start from the beginning.
I went to a boarding school named Blair Academy, and I wasn't really great in school academically, but at everything else, I was pretty fantastic. And I had a teacher named Judith Campman, who was an understudy at SNL for Gilda Radner and a writer, and she was my film teacher. And she pulled me aside and she was like, "Hey, academically, you kind of suck, but you're funny, like real funny, like professionally funny. If you want to pursue that, you could be funny for money." And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." And she was like, "If you want to do this though, you should start soon, and I will hook you up with Second City in Chicago, and you can go there this summer and work." So at 17 years old, I went to Chicago by myself, and I worked at Second City all summer, and I took tickets, and I performed and took class. And then anyway, I got my film master's and my film degree, and went out into the world and found no success until I went to a place called Buzzfeed, where I had
You heard of it?
A little unwell known.
It's such a mixed bag. Sometimes people don't know it.
I know it from my recent "Are You Gay" quiz that everybody had me take on.
Why are you gay?
Bruno
the
Mars
results
is gay.
were
Straight.
boring.
Disappointing.
So I went there for a few years, and I did fantastically well in terms of viewership, but made no money. And then they cut me loose, and I kind of wandered the earth like Cain until I found Twitch, and I used all my relevant skills.
When you were at BuzzFeed, so like, because again, like I don't know a whole lot about like what they've done. So were you making like YouTube videos for them, or like what were? Yeah, okay. And like what kind of stuff were they having you do?
Everything. I would be
It was like
in
skits, right? Or
Yeah.
like okay.
I would be in, film, edit, and help write something like 10 videos every week.
Well, that was when I remember you described it to me once where you said we would just throw everything at the wall to see what stuck.
Yeah.
And then whatever stuck, we would do like 20 different variations on that.
Yeah.
And that was where you really honed your skills of like making viral content.
Yeah, and I kind of screwed myself because I was always behind on making my own videos because internally I was dubbed BuzzFeed Steve-O, where I would do anything.
Right.
So, like everybody knew that I would get a good viewership boost too because I was like charismatic and a lot of the people weren't on camera. So I was in everyone else's videos. I was getting pulled into like 2 or 3 videos every single day.
Right.
Would go film, and then I'd have to run back to my desk and edit.
Yes. It was literally like, oh, we need to do a vajazzling
Yeah.
video. We're going to get Will
You're
Neff.
like sure.
Oh, we're
Sure.
trying the worst, stinkiest foods in the world. Will Neff.
You know
will
who
do
These
it.
are,
that?
these are real videos.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so when you were working on your own stuff, what kind of stuff was that you were?
Okay, so first I started as an intern, and basically they give you prompts, and I did a few prompts that were just given to me, and then when I got upgraded, I was in the narrative department, so I was trying to make sketch stuff, which had veritable success, and it was interesting. On YouTube I was never that great, but on Facebook I absolutely my videos killed.
Well, it's interesting too because this is back before. Nowadays, it feels like it's kind of easy to go viral, but also virality doesn't last that long.
Viral is so much bigger than it was. Like it's funny when you go back and you look at the numbers a video had to get to go viral back when Facebook, like Facebook was where things went viral. Like you would go back and you would look and it would be like a couple 100,000 views was viral. Where now, like you can post a video and get a couple 100,000 views and it's like,
Doesn't really mean anything.
feels like a couple people saw
But it was also
you know?
like when they had people at BuzzFeed who were starting to get like 50, 100,000 followers on Instagram, which was huge. And now that's like nothing.
I will say our YouTube at that point throttled.
Yeah.
Like bigger than almost any streamer now. Like we were doing over 1 billion views a month.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
It was crazy.
And I remember when he was kind of like he's given me lessons on content creation because when I started streaming, I didn't know this world at all. I was
weren't a
like
consumer.
No, I
which
was
is
not a
interesting.
consumer.
Yeah.
And I just came in blind and like had no understanding of the internet whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I remember the one lesson that you imparted on me is you were like, "Do you know the most popular BuzzFeed video of all time?"
Streaming video.
Video. And I was like, oh, "No, I don't think so." And it was
Rubber bands on a watermelon.
rubber bands on a watermelon.
Yeah.
And he explained that to me and I was like, I don't understand. He goes, who was it again?
I think it was a guy named Adam Bianchi who went on to do BuzzFeed Tasty, which was the food department. Adam Bianchi was really big on Test Kitchen. I remember he was the first guy who was really fascinating to me because he would, shouts out Adam Bianchi. I know he's still working on a few shows right now on YouTube. He was really fascinating to me because he had a film degree and he was fantastically talented behind a camera, but he would always do things where I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I remember one time he was like, I'm going to film this video on a shitty camera. And I was like, why? And he's like, I think when things are too, he's like, when I think things are too clean, they're unapproachable as viral videos because people see that it's corporate.
People want to feel like they could make that, but also it's really good.
So he actively downgraded the quality of his videos for a while, and he was always doing weird test kitchen stuff like this. So one of the test kitchen items, I think he did it, was this live stream of people putting rubber bands on a watermelon. And the viewer retention and how many people were watching at the time, I think they got 100,000 people watching, which now there are streams that have outdone that.
Right.
But at the time, that was such a
huge.
fucking outlier
Yeah.
that everyone was like, oh my God. So I remember a lot of us sat down and tried to analyze, like, what is it about a fucking, like, just this camera of a guy? And what we came up with was that it was here, now. Like, it's something that you're watching now. You're on board for the ride, and you know the conclusion.
Yeah, the I was here moment will lock people
Yes,
in.
and
You
that's
know
what
what you're waiting for. You're waiting for this thing to blow up.
yeah, with other people.
Yes.
And that's what he was trying to explain to me, because that concept of I was here is such a big thing on Twitch, right? And I people will type that in chat all the time. I was here when they're watching you fight a boss in Elden Ring and you finally defeat that boss. Or like when you have whatever game you've set up to do on a live stream, and then the moment that like you reach whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, and it's the I was here, where why watch this live versus watching a video of it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's stuff like that like transfers to YouTube very poorly, because it's like the sense of camaraderie in Twitch. It's like you're watching a moment with a bunch of people, you get to see the moment that it happens, and then you're like, oh, that was awesome. Like, I was here for that. And like when I talk about YouTube videos, like YouTube, you're trying to do the same thing, but you don't have a bunch of people watching it live. So you have to have a bunch of like build up. People are waiting for the answer moments. Like people are waiting for the answer. Like people, they have a itch and they're like waiting for you to scratch that itch, but you have to do it so much differently on YouTube. Do you miss making YouTube videos?
No.
Not at all?
No, I have like trauma around YouTube, I think.
Yeah, just like do it. And it makes sense.
No, I never want to make another YouTube
Did you-
as long as I live, if I can.
After you know, it's interesting because you have been a content creator for a long time, longer than Twitch. And I don't think I really realized that, because obviously, I knew about like Buzzfeed and all your work that you had done. But when I started doing Twitch, then I became a content creator, and I didn't realize that this was something that really you had kind of been at the forefront of
Forever.
with Buzzfeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel that, like, how has your feeling towards content changed between then and now?
How has my feeling towards content changed between then?
Because I feel like everybody, when they first start, you get that like excitement for whatever reason. Like whether it's an excitement to like create things, an excitement that people are watching you do things. And then I feel like it kind of changes, or no.
How my feeling towards content? Well, my goal has always been to make people laugh. That's always my North Star. But my creation of content.
Well, his path is interesting, because there's a lot of streamers who have been on Twitch, who've been live streaming for 10 plus years, right? But I think him, he started streaming in 2019 for reals. But you'd been a digital creator.
Yeah. Are you looking for like my
before that.
personal attitude, or like how I think the medium has changed?
Let's do the first one first,
My
because I am
personal
curious about
attitude?
both. Yeah.
Oh.
Like when you very first created a piece of content, like how did it make you feel versus like?
I think I had an axe to grind. You know what I mean?
What does that mean?
I think I had to show people, like, I think since Judith Campman put me on the course that like, oh, you can be professionally funny. I think I wanted to show people that.
Yeah.
I think even when you have an industry insider tell you that you're good at something, your family and the people around you, there's always kind of a silent doubt, a haze of doubt that like this is a pipe dream and you should focus on more serious things. And so I think I was always trying to prove something, and I think I have a lot of relief in that. I think I've proved it now.
Yeah.
What I set out to prove, I think I've proved.
Right.
In terms of creating content, it's a daily thing. There are days that you're really excited to go make something, and when you make something that you think is really great. But the thing about streaming is it's not limited to your good days. You got to get on there regardless of how you feel and entertain the people. And so there are days that are fantastic, and then there are days where you're like,
yeah, that's my beef with it is I don't think I ever feel as accomplished creatively when I do Twitch than when I do like a YouTube video and stuff, because of the fact that it's like, it doesn't matter if you have a good idea today, like go press the button.
Well, I think the thing that's really fascinating that like Buzzfeed in particular did, like we did this, is we were the first outfit to really break the internet's brain and to pimp the algorithm. And I think we were like the first in a large and long series of dominoes where the quality of content was no longer evaluated by whether it was phenomenally well made or good, but rather how broadly it was consumed. Mm-hmm. I think by the very merit of that, millions of people had watched it, it became good. Mm-hmm. And I think that's more ubiquitous than ever before. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of creators that get the virality then get the budget to go make a quality piece of content. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if young people are really critiquing what they consume at all beyond its virality and its kind of dopamine hook.
Yeah, especially with TikTok now, it's like you do get a lot of creators, and you see this all the time with like old head creators that like they've shifted their content pretty dramatically towards like artistic style that gets much worse numbers than their original stuff does. But it's because that's what they always wanted to make, and now they're like, I'm on the downfall. I'm just going to make what I want to make, where you get like TikTok people, like people that are just like trying to crunch those numbers where it's like, what do you want to make? And they're like, big number. Like big view number.
Like just following trends.
Yeah. It's like scratch big number itch. Yeah. And that's it.
Well, I think it's really funny. It's like, what are you now more likely to share with your friend? Mm-hmm. A Criterion project that knocks your heart loose and creates catharsis in your system, or something you watched while you were taking a shit that made you laugh and reminded you of
Sure, them? Yeah.
And the answer is the latter.
Right.
Because a lot of times the Criterion project is much more personal. Mm-hmm. And the other one is like, you don't have to have any kind of emotional attachment to someone getting hit in the genitals.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had a conversation with Nick Falco of The Yard when I was at Ludwig's birthday.
He's an artsy guy.
Yeah, he's
a great filmmaker.
He's around our age, and he comes from, a film background, and like he similarly got into content because he wanted to like he wanted to make art, but wanted to do it through this medium and like have opportunities this way that he wouldn't have had in the film industry, vice versa, or not vice versa. And anyway, he was talking to me where he's like, I try not to be the old man raising my fist to the sky. And I look and see, what the meta is, who is just crushing it on the platform, who's creating, who's changing the game. And like, I deeply admire what they're doing. And it's crazy the success they've had. He's like, but there is a part of me that like weeps for how, the dreams that I had of like coming in and making something that I felt really mattered, that like had an artistic merit to it, is not what like people seem to want.
It does feel like, and people will talk about like the Mr. Beastification of YouTube and stuff. Like it does feel like art has died on the internet, which I don't believe. There's still a lot of really good stuff that's being produced all the time, but a lot of people do feel like that. And
people just aren't making a living off of it.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's like you can't make Mr. Beast money on making really beautiful video essays. Am I always going to like appreciate the beautiful video essays on YouTube? Yeah. Like I'm going to appreciate them because they're amazing.
Well, you love Breadsword.
Breadsword's my favorite YouTuber. Yeah. Shouts out
and
Breadsword.
You introduced me to Breadsword.
Yeah, I mean, he probably hasn't made a video for 6 months because he is
an H-bomber guy.
He is a very not prolific creator, but that's kind of like how genius takes form. Yeah, and I love his film.
Is it Brett Sword? Like
bread
sword.
Like a sword that's bread made out of.
Yes.
Do you know H-bomber guy?
Pain.
Yeah, of course.
Dude, I was in a party the other day.
I heard you froze.
I froze.
Yeah.
I panicked. I was so sad.
Should haunt you for the
because I'm
rest
pretty
of your
sure
life.
he's like British. Like does he live in the US?
No,
That's over for you.
It's done.
So I'm so sad. Like I can't do that. I've done it like twice. I can't do that again.
Say goodbye to your dreams, loser.
Yep. Well, never gonna talk
I
to
told
him
her
again.
that's like
Oh,
when we
Jack and
saw
Daxter,
Keanu.
Perfect Circles. Like
when
he
we
does
saw
like
Keanu Reeves at the bookstore, and I never said hi.
And I was okay. You want to hear the worst part about that? I
course
was
I do.
screaming at her to say hi,
but like silently because.
and then
in a
I
bookstore.
tried to go say hi, and she said no, and she grabbed me.
What?
Yes,
Did I do that?
Yes.
I must have blacked out.
I was like, I'm gonna go say hi, and you're like,
That's what I did to whoever was standing next to me when he walked in. I saw his like, he was wearing like a white shirt.
His aura.
And his aura, like he aura farmed through the door. And I went to the person next to me. And I said, "That's H Bomber guy." And they were like, "I don't know who that is." I was like, "No. I get it." I was like, "He's gonna drop one video a
spiritual
year."
pressure is crushing.
It's like, guys, I can feel him in the room right now. Yeah, this. You know what? This guy's thumbnails are really interesting.
He's the man.
he is the man.
It's good when a YouTuber can just throw a thumbnail on a YouTube video and be like, "This will do numbers."
Can we talk about Superman coming out?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Superman.
by the time this comes out, Superman will probably be out.
Well, I was talking about this on stream yesterday, but of course, you have like Fox News and the usual characters doing they've made Superman woke because James Gunn came out and was like, Superman
He's
is
an
an
immigrant.
And I looked at the history
Oh, I
of
thought you said
Superman.
hypocrite. I was like, oh, okay.
No, because he's an immigrant, right? Like the story of an immigrant who comes to America, and it's the ultimate
because he's
immigrant
from
story.
off Earth.
Because he's from Krypton. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Come to America.
Wow.
But anyway, so of course they were doing the usual, like, well, then people aren't going to go see this movie because it's super woke, and I think I want to push back on this notion where I'm like, if you make a great movie, right?
Yeah.
You tell a good story, then I genuinely think these dumb voices online, they're a minority, right? Like you're not going to alienate.
God, I hope you're right. God.
James Gunn did come out though, and he was like, this movie doesn't need to make $700 million. Like, why are we treating movies like this now where it's like, oh, if it doesn't make $700 million, then it's a
numbers game.
a failure.
You know what's really interesting? Superman more than Fantastic Four has to make money. 100%.
Why?
But does it have to make $700 million?
Yes.
James Gunn said it doesn't.
James Gunn is lying. Superman is the linchpin of the DC universe. Fantastic Four is maybe kind of the center of the new phase of Marvel, but Marvel has been making money, and Fantastic Four is going to make money. The cast, the setup, everything, it's going to do well. Superman, on the other hand, doesn't have that legacy because DC film fucking chugs hog. It's bad. It's really bad. We have more horrible films than we have passable films, and we only have a few great films.
What are the great ones? Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, I think, is pretty fucking great. I think The Suicide Squad actually ended up, not the original Suicide Squad.
Oh.
The Suicide Squad, which was the reboot, the soft reboot film.
Okay.
Totally in spite of itself, was phenomenal. And then Peacemaker was really good. Penguin was really good. There are good properties there, but by and large, DC Films has been a disaster.
Did the Batman movie make money with Pattinson?
Yes, but that's not DCU again.
How?
Because he's not included in the DC universe. He's that version.
Batman?
No. That version of Batman is not going to touch the other characters.
It was just like a one-off.
Yeah,
I
this
know.
Is this
confusing.
this is a whole nother character?
We're talking Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Superman.
Okay.
And then Batman vs. Superman was also a DCU.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so basically what happened was when Marvel started spinning up its wheels and made the Marvel universe, the executives at Warner Brothers and DC were like, holy crap, there's so much money here. We have to do this. Mm-hmm. But instead of nailing down their core characters in the way that Marvel had with the lead-in Iron Man, Thor, Captain America films to build the oh my God, the Avengers are coming, DCU did one film. It was Man of Steel, and then it was Justice League time. And so they hadn't set anything up. They didn't earn anything.
Didn't build the universe
because
before
they
did
wanted that
Justice
$1
League.
billion film, and everything was just
That was Zack Snyder, right?
farts.
Yeah.
Really bad films. So now, again, this is the first film in the new DCU, the rebooted DCU. So if this film fucking bombs or only does well, then all the subsequent films that people are going to watch are tied then to that film. This is ground zero. This is the lore you need to know.
I understand.
These are the characters.
So
you
there's
need to
two
know.
different things going on though. Like do well as far as the movie itself is good, but also that it's a success at the box office.
Well, the success in the box office is tied to potential future investment and potential future earnings, but it's also tied to how many people saw episode 1 of your show. Because any kind of universal building is like, anytime that there is a subsequent film now, people are going to be like, but I didn't see Superman. So if they didn't, then they're like, oh, I don't know what Guy Gardner's
I do know what you mean.
This film is pivotally important to the success of the DCU.
So
pivotally.
For Marvel, it was Iron Man, right?
That was step
was what
1.
kicked
Yes.
off?
Yes.
Okay.
But the greater DCU started with Avengers.
Okay.
Because they interacted, but not in a huge. They would do the stingers as kind of a lead-in, but Avengers was like the first time they got together. This Superman movie is starting with Superman, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Ultraman. Like it is so many of the characters.
Yeah, I
Wait,
understand.
Ultraman. I'm on camera. My brain's blanking.
I don't know. That sounds right to me.
Literally, all you need to know is that like 5 major DCU characters are showing up in Superman.
Sure.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Well, early
Lex
reviews,
Luthor too. Sorry.
Superman first reactions say film soars as a thrilling start to James Gunn's DC universe. David Cornsweet is exceptional, sharing off the charts chemistry with Rachel Brosnahan. And we heard from people who were in test audience that it was good.
Well, Cornsweet, I think, I unfortunately, who's the guy who played the last Superman?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Okay. I think Henry Cavill is a phenomenal actor, and I think he looks like Superman. And I think a lot of people got upset when I said he wasn't a great Superman because they're like, he looks like Superman, and that's their level of criticism that they have risen
I feel like
to.
you can find
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
so many guys who look like Superman.
But Cornsweet did this one interview recently, and I was like, he's got it. And he locked in, and I think the biggest barrier to Superman is how do you tell an interesting story about an infallible character who is good, pure good? When you think about like the grid of like chaotic evil, neutral to good, Superman is in the extreme far left.
Yeah.
He's all the way lawful, and he's all the way good. He is a fucking Boy Scout. So how do you make an interesting story about that? Particularly in an era, which is like the attitude era of film. Everybody loves a Batman.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a Spider-Man.
And you also have the like
People love
the
villains too.
fucked up-
Punisher. Yeah.
You have like the Penguin. You have boys.
Exactly.
You have all like the. It's like superhero stuff, but it's really fucked up.
Yeah.
So
Which
how do
I
you
love.
make that character relatable? And Cornsweet started talking about like, oh, well, he can't relate to anybody. He's totally isolated. Superman is the most isolated character maybe in comic books because he's the sole survivor of his planet. Basically, the people he saves live in constant fear that he's going to snap one day, right?
You're right, right.
And that is kind of heightened by Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, I think, is a fantastically interesting character because Lex Luthor is a villain in the sense that he's a billionaire, but also his fear is completely rational.
Yeah.
Leaving the fate of our planet in the hands of an alien is crazy. And you see that explored in like Invincible, where like, what if Omni-Man, what if Superman just one day decided to be like, you know what? Fuck this.
Right.
I'm going to murder everybody.
He is the most powerful
By a
superhero, right?
By a wide margin.
Okay, because I said this yesterday on stream. I said
By-
he is the most powerful.
By a wide margin.
Okay.
There are a lot of like Marvel scaling people who will be
I was
like,
gonna ask, like Captain Marvel, isn't she supposed to be like super overpowered or no?
when it comes down to it, Soups will kill anybody. Soups will kill anybody one-on-one. That is hard. And you can make arguments for like the Beyonder and like Galactus and like
What are his powers? Canonically.
Superman's powers. Okay.
Can I try to wait?
Yeah.
Can I see if okay. Super speed.
Okay, what is start with his origin? Where does his power come from?
His power comes from Krypton.
Inside of him?
It's in
his
It's in
veins?
his heart.
It's in his
heart.
Okay, sure.
Where does it come from?
Yeah.
He was born that way.
Kryptonians
Kryptonians.
have a different light wavelength on planet Krypton.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where the kryptonite comes from.
Okay.
And the radiation from our yellow sun interacts with Kryptonian DNA in a way that it makes them super.
It's like chlorophyll.
So he laser eyes.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's getting charged
Really fast.
by
Yes,
our
he's getting
sun.
charged by the sun.
Pew! Super strong.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, he does have laser vision.
Really hot.
Did you ever watch Iron Giant?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's my favorite movie.
Yeah. He's basically, he is the strongest, fastest, faster than a plane, faster than
Not the fastest, but very fast.
He's not the fastest?
Flash.
Oh.
That's in the name, man.
Wait, but then how come, like, in other iterations of Superman, like, Homelander's supposed to be Superman, right? How come then when you have the Flash character, like, the Superman character and other superhero type stuff can just, like...
Because they don't get to the power scaling. Also, it's not that he was faster than Red Rush in Invincible. He just killed him.
Oh, okay.
Like, Superman can kill the Flash, yeah. But
Okay.
the Flash is fast. The Flash is so fast he can go back in time.
Okay. So he's not the fastest, but he's real fast.
Yeah.
But he's the most powerful superhero.
Yes.
He, though, has his weakness, which is kryptonite.
Right.
And so why do we have kryptonite?
Because of the explosion of planet Krypton. And it sends, like, asteroids.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, basically, he's got flight, super strength. He's got laser eye vision, cold breath.
And no one
Invulnerability,
seems to
super
recognize
strength.
him when
He
he's
puts
Clark
glasses
Kent.
on. Yeah,
When he
what's
puts,
the-
he puts his glasses on?
Have they broken down that? Why when he puts his glasses on, they can't recognize him? Or is that just kind of like a...
You have to buy that the idea is that, like, Superman is such an omnipresent character that just the people, normal day people, cannot believe that they're close to him or that he has any kind
It's
of
like,
life outside of
you
being
know
Superman.
the trope of the nerdy girl with glasses
Yeah.
and ponytail, and
I
they
think he's
sit
also
down
about
and suddenly
super
she's...
hearing.
Yes, he does. He
But
does.
also, if you want to talk about power scaling, this is super nerdy. The reason that Superman is the strongest superhero, bar none, can kill anybody, is there's a version of Superman where he literally flies into the sun and he becomes Superman 1 million, I believe it's called, and he basically comes
Ulted.
out.
There's also a communist Superman.
He comes out.
Yes.
Okay.
There's like red.
Really?
Superman
Red-
Red Sun is an alternate
Red Sun.
universe where Kal-El is loaded in the pod at a different time.
He's
and
like
shot.
fighting for socialism.
Yeah, instead of landing in Ohio, he lands in Russia.
Stunning. Do you think Superman's a good character?
I do. I always think Superman is a better foil than he is a hero,
What's a foil?
like a antagonist.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So basically, when Superman like goes bad, that he's more interesting.
There's a
Okay.
few different stories where Superman goes bad. One where there's like this space starfish that kind of takes over his mind. And
They also did that in Justice League.
Yeah.
Where Henry Cavill, that's his Superman, he
breaks bad.
breaks bad, and so the Justice League has to like stop him.
Yeah. He's always really interesting when he does that. And then there's another, one of my favorite comics of all time, which is not really a canon comic, but they used it at one point, is Batman vs. Superman.
Okay.
Which is a Frank Miller comic where Batman is very old in the comics, not the movie. The movie, they totally shit their pants and didn't follow any of the lore. But Batman's old, right? Batman ages. He's like 65 years old, 60 years old, and he can't do it anymore. So he's got this bat suit and blah, blah, blah. Supes hasn't aged. And
Because he doesn't, I imagine,
he
right?
doesn't, no. And he basically becomes a arm of the state where he's like working directly for Nixon, I believe, one of the presidents.
ACAB includes Superman.
know. I
And
guess.
basically Batman is like, fuck this guy, piece of shit. And because he's like deterring nuclear war and doing things that are, so he teams together with like some mutants and another, I think it's Green Arrow, and they kill Superman. They beat him to death.
And you can do that.
Well, when you have kryptonite gauntlets and a
I could do that.
Oh.
tank suit, yeah.
I think you could.
I could.
I
But
think
it's
you
an
could.
awesome comic, and he's just pummeling him. It's awesome.
The movie was what, Ben Affleck's Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was trash.
How many different... Who's your favorite variation of Superman?
Oh, I thought you were saying
Superman?
Batman.
Yeah. Like, who do you think did Superman the best?
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, I would say Christopher Reeves up until this point.
You don't know the tragic story of Christopher Reeves?
Did you guys watch Smallville?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I did not watch Smallville.
I
should.
loved Smallville.
I never watched it. It was the CW, right?
Yeah, I loved it because it was very like high school.
Yeah.
right?
By the way, to all my nerds, I'm on camera without my phone. If I missed any specific details,
This has been an incredible
I did
recollection
pretty well.
of like one of the best things in the world is to talk to somebody about something they love because they like I can retain the stupidest information about stuff I love. Nothing important, but I'll just start like Spyro facts.
Yeah.
I'll just start rattling them off, and I love it. It's I don't know the story of Christopher Reeves.
oh, Christopher Reeves was the.
He wasn't the first.
He wasn't the first, but he did 3 movies with Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, and people loved him, and people loved those movies. And then tragically, during a horse jumping horse jumping accident, he broke his neck.
And he became paraplegic.
Yeah.
No.
So there's the documentary that came out like last year, I think, the Christopher Reeve story.
And he was just like, he was an even better person somehow after he broke his neck. Like he raised all this money for research and stood up for it and was like an advocate and just an awesome human being all around.
And he was a great Superman.
But a lot of people, I think, would say Christopher Reeves was their favorite Superman.
One thing I will say about Superman and Batman that Marvel does not have, other than maybe Spider-Man, is their songs like this. You don't know those. And then Superman.
I don't know Superman's.
Okay.
Okay.
See?
When you were in junior high, would you write the super? You know how everyone would
The
do
Millennial
super-
S?
Yes.
What was the Millennial S?
1, 2,
Was that the
3?
super? Was that the
1, 2,
Superman
3?
S?
Yes,
It's
that
pretty-
was the Superman
it's close.
S.
It's close.
See, I'm Sam, so that was Sam S.
Yeah, well, okay. Superman
So,
came
that's
first.
fine.
You guys know
Sorry.
Spider-Man?
No, hold on. Spider-Man. Yeah, well, no,
does
'cause of the
whatever a
Simpsons.
spider can.
Yeah.
Spins a web.
I don't know the second verse.
There
goes the Spider-Man.
What's the theme song we don't know?
I'm trying to think of
Wait,
like.
what's
There's
Batman?
gotta be one.
Batman is-
We did Batman.
Also,
right.
dude, the animated series. Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
Oh, banana. Yeah.
I don't know that
What's
one.
Wonder
Boom,
Woman?
bang. I don't
This
know.
one. They didn't give her one. It was 70%
Hello,
is-
no. Give me the stone.
Enough champagne. Yeah, that's a lot of nerd shit for you, though.
That is
I
a
love
lot
it.
of nerd
What's
shit.
another? What's like? Okay, so you have. I know you do like comic stuff. You do anime stuff. What's like one thing you don't get to talk about enough that you just fucking love?
Also, can we just say too, like, you have a podcast.
Yes.
How has this felt different from your podcast?
Oh, dude. I mean, it's crazy. Shouts out Fear End, but those motherfuckers can't pay attention to a topic for 2 seconds, which is crazy. Which is crazy because
It's funny because we have 2
Tell us more.
ADHD people here.
I'm 3, bitch. I'm the most ADHD person on
You
the
count
planet.
as 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
But well, you're a little ADHD.
No, I'm not. I focus.
You are one of the most neurotypical people. You know what I know I said about her the other day? I was like, one thing you do that is incredible is me and Caroline will be having a conversation and I'll divert it. And then like 5 to 10 minutes later, she'll go, right. So anyways, and then she will pick up the conversation that we had before, which I will be like, bro.
So that's the fascinating part. Just like that, I am the glue, the arbiter of Fear End. Like they're all very funny, but if you watch the structure of most of those episodes, it is me trying to keep it on the rails, which is something I had to adapt to simply from a necessity of that, like they cannot stay on topic,
Right.
which is a new muscle I had to learn how to develop, and that I am usually the backbone of like what
The
we're
linear-
talking and keeping them on topic. Sometimes they'll just throw topics out. We'll be like 3
Sure.
minutes in and they'll be like, have you guys seen
Yeah.
Yeah, it is with 4 people too. Like there's a lot of brains that can
There's a
suddenly
lot
think of
happening.
something.
So with this though, I feel like, you record a podcast every week.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe this is different because you haven't spoken at length about something that
ever
is
on that pod? Really, I don't think.
that you can.
Not that I can
I do
remember.
feel like Fear End is very heavy on the comedy, right? Just like
It
the
is.
bits. Like you
Yep.
guys
It
are
is
always
bits.
just
Yeah.
kind of ribbing
Which
each
is
other
fun.
and doing bits, and it's
Yeah.
fun. But I think maybe this is kind of nice for people to get to hear you talk about things that.
That was one thing I said before, like you came in, as I was like, you live with Will. I was like, there's so many pieces of Will lore I don't know, because I don't think you and I have sat and like just talked about shit. And so I was like, I don't know your lore.
And I said,
I don't know.
I said, I don't. Obviously, you are our first guest, and thank you very much for coming on. But I was like, this is a good chance for us to kind of figure out what is it like having a guest on our pod? Because we don't want it to be an interview. I don't be like, so William Neff. But also like get to know who this person is, but talk to them about things that we know they're that are like interesting.
Yeah, it's true. I'd like hearing people talk about stuff they like. Because I have a shit memory, and so if I hear somebody talk passionately about something, I will retain it better. Genuinely.
Should we do our Let Me Know segment?
Yeah.
Let me know.
Okay, so this is us. I don't know if we know we have this segment on our podcast, but this is our favorite segment.
Okay.
It was inspired by America Me Up.
It was inspired by...
Because we love a segment.
It was inspired by America Me Up. Also, keep it on my favorite, one of my favorite podcasts. Keep it, but... It's where we tell each other something that, like, we're assuming the other person doesn't know, but also it's a chance to bring in a topic that, like, maybe we wouldn't cover otherwise on the stream. So it's
just something interesting that happened.
So if there's anything while we give ours that you think of that you want to let us know about.
Oh, I have one.
You have one?
I have one.
Do you want to start?
No, I'll let you guys go first.
Okay. Yeah. Well, mine are usually people who have died.
Caroline's is mine. You know what's funny? Mine actually is people that have died. You won't know. Well, it's a whole thing.
Was it Mark
Have
Snow?
you heard of the Australian mushroom lady?
No.
Oh.
I was gonna be like, was
it's
it
a
the composer of the
crime
X-Files
situation
theme song?
that came to a closure finally after years.
Okay.
Go ahead. You know what? You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I can go first.
You go first.
Okay,
You go
I'll go first. Okay, so there is this case that has been happening in Australia for I think it happened in 2023. I was listening to a couple videos when I was driving here. So 2023, Erin Peterson, she is a lady that lives in Australia. She decides to host a dinner party. She invites over her husband, who she is not with, but they're still married. She invites over his parents and his aunt and uncle. Okay. And she says, come over to my house. I'm going to cook a beef Wellington, and I have something that I want to tell you guys. And they're like, okay. And the husband calls and says, I can't make it. And she says, I really, really would like it if you could. And she's like, I have something that I want to talk about to everybody.
It's like, why does this?
And
feel
he's like, I'm so sorry,
for...
I can't make it. She's very upset that he can't make it, but she understands. She also ensures that the kids are not there. She's the scene. She's saying like, there's something really important. Don't want the kids to hear it, but I want everybody else to hear it. So ensures the kids don't show up. The family shows up. They come over. She says, I made this beef Wellington. I couldn't find a large enough piece of beef, so I actually made 5 individual beef Wellingtons. So she serves them all individually. They're all on gray plates. She didn't have the same plate to serve herself her beef Wellington.
She poisoned these motherfuckers.
So they sit down and they eat, and she says, I just wanted to tell you guys, like, I have ovarian cancer, and it's, spread. I'm going to have to go in and I'm going to have to do surgery. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. Everybody goes home. Everybody proceeds to get sick. 3 people die. 1 person is severely sick, has to get, I think, organ transplants, but does make it, the uncle. Come to find out, these people were fed death cap mushrooms. Okay?
Insane.
This is how they got sick. So this case has been progressing over the course of a couple different years, course of a couple years, and it just came to a close. She was found guilty of murder. It's different.
Was her
in
husband one of
Australia.
the ones who died?
No, because he didn't show up.
Oh,
good for
he
him.
straight up was like,
He didn't show up.
Even though she said I have something important to tell you, he's like, Kim,
So
not important enough.
The proof that they had and the way that this she ended up getting convicted is she had a air fryer, or it's not an air fryer, a dehydrator that they caught her on CCTV camera throwing out like the day she got back from the hospital, because she got sick too. But not nearly as sick as anybody else.
Okay. Little
her
throwing off the trail.
Her story, and they asked her, like, why weren't you also sick? Is she said, well, I have an eating disorder, and so after they left, there was cake, and she said I had a slice of cake, and then I had another slice of cake, and then I had another slice of cake, and then she was like, then I went to the bathroom and I threw up. So she did get a little bit sick, but she did not get sick as everybody else. The dehydrator she ended up throwing out. And then they were like, well, where did you get the mushrooms? How did you not know that they were death cap mushrooms? And she said that she had a combination of stories. One thing was she said, I went to an Asian food store and I don't know. And they were like, where is this? And she was like, I don't know where it was. They tracked her phone.
Also blaming it on the Asian food.
Right. Well,
bitch.
she totally did. She was like, I don't know, and I don't know
like,
what kind of mushrooms
Asian
they were
food
because
can
I couldn't.
kill.
Right. And so then another
They're
thing.
Australians.
They can't read. And so she went to a place that conveniently had been reported to have like death cap mushrooms that she had read like 40 minutes away. And so she had foraged these herself, apparently, and she had them dried in her cabinet, and she didn't know that they were death cap mushrooms, and she had put them into her beef Wellington, which she made a bunch of different servings of. Anyways, it's a big case that's been going on.
Does she have ovarian cancer?
No.
Okay, because I was like, she's going out, so she's going to take everyone else with her?
No. So what the deal with that is they said, okay, well, we know you don't have ovarian cancer. And she said, well, the story is I wanted to get liposuction. I don't know what the surgery is called. She's like, she wanted to get that. She said that she was too embarrassed to tell her family, so she made up the ovarian cancer story so she could go get this surgery without telling them what it actually was.
Have they figured out why she decided to kill her family?
It was they were separating, and there was a bunch of like back and forth of like property assets, and she kept asking the family to get involved to help her, and they were like, hey, you should just pray on it. Good luck with your divorce.
Wow.
So
she's like, I prayed on it, and God told me to do this.
Yeah, and they were like, okay, well, where did you say you were going to get liposuction surgery? And she was like, this place. They went, and it was like a dermatology office. And they were like, they don't do surgeries like that.
Oh my God.
They think the ovarian cancer story was so that she could set up a scenario where, hey, come over to my house. This is a serious conversation, but the kids shouldn't be here. It's too dark. So she could make sure the kids were not there.
It's so crazy that you mentioned this story because I actually made a beef Wellington.
Wait, 3 individual beef Wellingtons?
Yeah,
Wow.
So random. Just a coincidence.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Australia, like, they don't get a whole lot of, like, if this happened in the US, I feel like you wouldn't even really hear about it. This has been like a big story over there for years.
I feel like this would be a big story.
Yeah, you think?
Yes.
The mushroom
Women
lady.
serial killers, people love that shit.
People love it.
She's actually technically a spree killer, but
Tell me about that.
differentiation between a serial killer and a spree killer.
Yeah.
Murders have to happen over the course of a month, and there need to be more than 3 victims. So there's more than 3 victims in this instance, but because it all happened within the course of a month, she's a spree killer, not a serial killer.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
The more you know. Wow. What do you got? Let me know.
Oh my God. This is why I don't eat mushrooms. See,
That's why you don't eat mushrooms?
Yeah. Because so whenever I go somewhere and there's mushrooms,
I gotta move my position. And
I know. Well, we're kind of you know what? We're testing things out, so it's good to know that it's probably not that comfortable not being able to like.
I have a giant dump truck ass, so I'm comforted
a massive
for the
ass.
whole. Yeah.
Do you wanna?
No, it's good.
Let
me know.
Okay, well, you know. Well, mine. Okay, as I said, usually it's like people have died, and but then I also do it on stream, so sometimes I'm like, I don't want to reiterate. So I'll just briefly mention Mark Snow, X-Files composer, sound score composer. He died.
Somehow that didn't make
Iconic.
it clear in my head.
Okay. Michael Madsen of Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill fame. That woman deserves her revenge, and we deserve to die. Also, Julian McMahon, who we had just seen in that wild film, The Surfer, but he was in Nip Tuck. And anyway, but mine is the fact that we no longer have to take our shoes off at TSA.
Yes, bitch.
I just got TSA pre-check for my Birkenstocks.
Yeah, passengers at airports across the U.S. no longer have to remove their shoes during
Did they
regular TSA
did they decide
security
that
checks.
because so many planes are just fucking falling out of the air?
They were
anyway?
like, whatever, it doesn't matter. We can't stop it.
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe the Trump administration is just trying to like get a W here. But Christy
Give them
No,
their shoes
Nazi
back.
Barbie, said the change would take effect immediately for airports across the country. She said, our security technology has changed dramatically. It's evolved. Yeah, the security technology being we just use Palantir AI tech and go into communities and like rip families apart.
Yeah.
TSA has changed. We have a multi-layered whole of government approach now to security and to the environment that people anticipate and experience when they come into an airport that has been honed and it's been hardened. So you still have to like remove your belt and coat and all that. And like there's the liquids rule, but they're apparently reviewing all the rules now.
You think people just got stinky feet?
I'm big on this. I'm big on this because I've always thought to myself, time machine, you go back, you take out one person. It's Hitler, top of the list. Number 2, shoe bombing guy. Because he didn't even get the bomb off, but for the rest of my life,
Richard
the shoe
Reeve.
that is
situation.
actually an act of successful terrorism.
Yeah.
That I have had to take my shoes off the entirety of my life because this one fucking white dude with dreadlocks.
Yeah, and you think about like, oh, which shoes am I going to wear to the airport? Well, I have to take them off quickly. And when you get to the end and you're like trying to put your shoes back on.
I'm sorry, but people with bare feet in the airport.
Crazy.
Yeah, that would be so gross. Imagine somebody wore Birkenstocks.
I don't care if you're going to Cancun. Okay, wear your sneakers and socks because you're taking them off. Except not anymore.
Can I complain about something really quickly?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever flown with Southwest?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you, I did not know that it's a free for all when you get onto a Southwest plane. So I just flew with Southwest. I'm getting onto the plane. I'm looking at my thing and I'm going, I don't have a seat assigned. Like they don't assign you a seat. And so I'm like, fuck it. Well, I bought the ticket. Like they have to put me somewhere. So I walk onto the plane and I go like this and I think they get that. They're like, what do they call it? Like open seating.
Yeah.
So what you have to do at that moment, because I was in like group C. So group A goes and picks.
Yeah, you're middle seat.
So you walk in and you just have a sea of people that have obviously picked the window side or the aisle side.
Yeah.
And then there's a sea of middle seats. And so you have to walk down and people are looking at you. You have to decide like whose day you're going to ruin.
Whose day you're going to ruin.
No, and you know what they do? They take their like purses and their like kids and they're just like,
you're going to pick this middle seat because I will make it hell.
Yeah, they are. They're looking at you.
I will make it hell.
Yeah.
You will
and
wish
so you have to walk down
this fight.
and you have to be like, okay, well now I have to like decide like who looks like the most comfortable to like sit. It's like this lady looks like she's going to like maybe have perfume that's a little bit too strong. But when I flew back, I got the aisle seat.
Oh,
and this lady got the window seat.
And then you were the one who was looking at people coming on being like,
I piled everything I owned in the middle seat, and I was sitting there like you make eye contact, but you also kind of like don't. So you're just sitting there, and you're just like, you want that one? Are you sure?
Yeah. What's like one of the best things you could do to get somebody to not sit in the seat next to you?
Bleed.
Well, I had that covered.
If you know how wrestlers do something called sticking, where they take like a little razor blade and they hit themselves, dude. As soon as you sit down, you just tap yourself a few times with a little razor blade and just get a little trickle of blood going.
Yeah, just like wow, that
you're just doing this.
I think I would just take someone sitting in the middle seat, but that's a good suggestion.
I'm also
you asked how to get it done.
You know what? You're right. I did.
I'm getting into WWE,
which we'll talk.
We should talk
let's
about
save
that. Yeah, we should
let's save that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I watched like one video essay, and now here
you are. All right. Well, let's finish off. Let me know.
Do you know that almost all the glitter in the world is made in one factory in South America, and they're very mysterious?
Oh, I thought you were about to say almost all the glitter in the world is gone. That we're about to like run out of. We're about to run out of glitter.
Look it up. I don't have a.
Wasn't
web
there
device.
like a glitter shortage kind of recently?
All glitter made in one factory.
Yeah, no, I heard there was a glitter shortage.
I could be wrong about this. I thought I heard this.
No, you are wrong. Most of the this is the AI overview, so take that as you will.
Oh, it's New Jersey. Okay, not South America.
It's close enough, though, you know?
True.
Yeah.
Specifically, 2 major companies, Meadowbrook Inventions and GlitterX. Yeah, I heard about GlitterX, which is very mysterious.
Why does this say the Great Glitter Conspiracy of 2018?
There we go. That
Wasn't glitter like a military thing at some point?
I've never thought about glitter this much.
No,
as
dude,
I have
there's
right
crazy
now.
video essays about glitter. Glitter is like it's an incredible thing.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and it like doesn't go away. When I was in high school, I did dance team. I still have glitter like embedded into like bags, duffel bags, everything I own.
There was like I actually saw today a makeup artist is getting like canceled because she is doing like did mermaid makeup in the water, and people are like glitter. Glitter is the topic of the day.
It's like microplastics, but more.
Okay, I just have to briefly look at this. Today, the New York Times published an entertaining investigation into the history and secrets of glitter. Glitter is technically aluminum metallized polyethylene terephthalate.
Sounds dangerous.
Wow. Takes 1,000 years to biodegrade. And most of the world's supply is produced in New Jersey at 2 different glitter manufacturing companies.
Wow.
And although this is for
Not
the cut.
South America, usually.
Although the reporter, Katie Weaver, tried to visit each of these companies, only one grudgingly allowed her inside.
Yes.
The company, GlitterX, was secretive about its numbers, but it did reveal that the most popular glitter color by far is silver. But the story's most tantalizing detail, however, is that one of the glitter industry's biggest clients doesn't want the public to know that it's using glitter in the first place.
I think it's the U.S. military, right?
Why? Okay, is this where the military comes in?
I feel like.
Yeah. No, they're like a huge purchaser of glitter. It's the marine industry. It says boats, like cruise ships and shipping boats require enormous amounts of paint. So like there's specific paint they put on boats so that they don't get too hot and they don't like reflect too much. Glitter.
Maybe it's
Anyway,
okay.
I kind of let you know.
Wow.
I didn't know the details.
No,
You did. Thank you for letting us know about
opening the door to a rabbit hole.
You
Is
did. This
a beautiful thing.
definitely is a rabbit hole that you can get deep in.
Really stick into it.
Love it. Well,
Well,
thanks for being our first guest.
Thank
yeah.
you.
How were we?
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
It's like now give
Now,
us a
now
review.
give us feedback, William.
Maybe let the people know about the Let Me Know segment so that they have something for the end.
Well, yes, we in advance.
I did text you.
You did text me, but then
that's
the anime girl contest, and I didn't want to interrupt too much, and I was like,
You can text me.
I texted you many times and
Let's see this.
Okay. Hey, what are you
I
doing?
couldn't even get a response back for when you were going to be done. So anyway,
Nothing about, Let Me Know
but
segment,
actually,
though.
you know what though? That's a compliment to you because I know you have a lot of shit in your
Bandwidth,
head.
yeah.
So I knew that you would be able to pull one out
Sure.
without even knowing
always
that you
good to
needed
pull one
to.
out.
You're always good to pull one out.
What do you need?
Anyway, everybody, thank you for joining on this episode. Very special episode with our first official guest. We want to shout out to Toon, who did come on our Patreon after we did the ghost hunting stream, but Will Neff in our new location with very uncomfortable seats. We will have pillows coming for future guests. But thank you for joining us. And is there
You're
anything you
welcome.
want to shout out? Is there anything like
Ooh.
you have your own podcast?
He wants to
Fear
shout out
and
his
you have
butt
Yeah,
right now.
let's shout out Fear End. Go watch Fear End.
go watch Fear and go see what Will has to deal with on a weekly basis. You are the Will Neff on socials. You're Will Neff on Twitch, and this is the boy.
The boy.
And we will see you over on the Patreon.
We're 30 seconds in, and he's already fucked it up. Okay, let's do a few seconds of ASMR pause.
That's nice. Thank you for that.
Wow, thank you so much.
More
All right,
of that.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Move. Body.